Hello, everybody. My name is Stacy. Welcome to my channel, The Liminal Space. We are welcoming the turn of the wheel and moving into a new season. So we're doing this reading for the Lammas season, traditionally celebrated on August 1st. It is also sometimes known as Lunasa, which is celebration of the Celtic or Gaelic sun god Lu the sun god. So I know it by both names. I recognize it more as Lammas, probably because of my early upbringing in the church. Even in like the Lutheran tradition, Lammas is celebrated as a bread harvest, and that's really what it is for us. It is the first harvest. Translates roughly to loaf mass, and it is a celebration of the bread that comes from the grain harvest, which is what's happening many places in the world right now. I'm in northeastern Montana. It's definitely harvest season. And we've had a beautiful growing season this year. So what a blessing. But, people are starting to combine peas and lentils, and probably in a couple days or a week we'll be combining wheat. Hay harvest has still been going on. So we're definitely in harvest season. So we look at these eight holidays traditionally that are called the Wheel of the Year. This is a cross-quarter holiday because it falls between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. And cross-quarter holidays are traditionally celebrated as fire holidays or fire elements. So if you feel like bringing the element of fire into your life, light a candle like I have over here, light a bonfire, even turn on a lamp with the right intention. You can bring fire into your life in many ways. For this year's readings, we've been using this deck by Denise Linn. It is the Gateway Oracle by Denise Linn, and it's fabulous. This is an older deck of hers. I think it came out in like 2012. I just got it this last year. I was looking for something different, and it felt very fitting because 2026 is a gateway year in a sense. It is a 1 year. We got last year was a 9 year, which can be somewhat difficult with transitions. This year's kind of felt bumpy as well. I'm just lighting some sage to bring into our reading. I already cleared my space, and my guides and gatekeepers are keeping me quite safe, but I sure do like to use a little bit of white sage and then Palo Santo to help clear the space, because I do think that translates to you guys and this reading. So I look at 5 cards for these readings. I look at messages to us from the different elements. So these are the elements of earth, water, air, fire, and ultimately spirit at the end. So I'm going to try to keep my candle in frame, depending on the space that I have. I think it's really important for me as a reader. I always feel connected. Boy, that was a bad shuffle. Maybe the deck is telling me it doesn't need to be shuffled anymore. Because I'm a double Leo sun and moon, and I feel very strongly tied to fire as an element for creativity. All elements are wonderful, and I work with all of them. But for readings, I feel fire just makes things feel fabulous. I don't know. So we're going to look at 5 cards. We're looking at our message from Earth, our message from water, our message from air, our message from fire, and our message from spirit. And I'll line these up so they look a little bit better, but get them all to fit in frame. As I said, sometimes just getting stuff to, well, we'll leave a little bit of fire in the picture. So let's take a look at what our cards are. I do want to just ask that if you feel drawn to learning about the Wheel of the Year, there's lots of information out there. I've thought about doing videos kind of describing the traditions, the past, the history of each of the holidays, but I've never got it done. And I tell you, if you look for it, you will find it, and you will find stuff that fits and feels right to you. So let's take a look at our message from Earth. Strong and steady Earth. This is believing in magic. And it says here that true magic is abounding in my life. And so this Earth is a steady and solid element. It's very grounding. And so I think that it's bringing forward this message of magic in this strong and steady and grounding element lets us know that magic is all around us. And sometimes we can find magic just in the earth itself, by the way the leaves bloom on the trees, by the way the flowers bloom. Magic is everywhere, and it is something that we have the power to not necessarily control, but bring into our lives. If you believe in something, you set its intention forward in your life and really in the lives of people that you affect. So if you believe in fear, in anger, in hate, in doubt, those are the things you bring forward. So my advice to you, because that's all magic, everything is magic, that with bringing forth magic in your life, think of things like love, happiness, joy, laughter, growth. These are the things that you want to bring in. Don't think of the negative things. Think of the positive things. There's enough negative things in the world right now. You don't need to focus on that or bring those things into your life. So let's look at the message here. It says, it is indeed a magical universe. Spiritual dimensions and mystical realms are only a thought away. The key to opening these doors is to trust in something you cannot see or hear. You can have doubts, yet still believe in the vast and mysterious universe, where signs, symbols, and coincidence reveal secret messages. Even if your faith is the size of a mustard seed, magic can abound. Believe. So mustard seeds are very small, but anything can grow and grow and grow into something beautiful. So if you take those positive elements in your life and let them expand, I think you will realize how powerful you are as a magical creator in your own life. Because really, we're all creating our own realities and outcomes, that you will find how powerful you are. And trust in the earth, ground in the earth, stand under a tree, put your bare feet on the ground, stand in water. Running water is beautiful if you have a river or a stream. Even lake water is beautiful and fresh. Stand, in the ocean if you can. That's ultimately cleansing because it is full of salt, which is also cleansing. So if you have the opportunity to do these things in earth, please do them. So let's take a look at what our message is from water. And I feel like I've just talked about water quite a bit with rivers, lakes, the ocean. So I'm kind of curious to see what this message is going to be for us. Interesting. This is simplifying your life. And it says here, I cherish the simple pleasures of life. But in the image on the card, it really looks like we're cleaning. We're going through stuff. We're clutter clearing, which, I think we all probably need to do. We kind of live in a society that bombards us with advertisements, buy this, do this, get this. And then we end up with so much stuff we don't even know how to enjoy it. And sometimes simplifying things can make your life feel so much clearer and more direct because you've just cut all the hassle out of your life. And I feel like I definitely am paying attention to this message simply because I was already talking about water and how important it is. And so this being the message that water is bringing forward to us seems very important. Certainly in my life, I think each and every one of us will find a card or an element that we can connect with more at this time. Or maybe you find several. I don't know if you heard that on the video, but a train just went by right when I said that. So everybody will connect with something a little bit more than somebody else, which is beautiful because that's what makes us all diverse yet powerful individuals. So the message here is, focus on what is important to you and let everything else go. Scan all areas of your life and clear out the internal and external clutter, and you'll experience remarkable transformations. Rest and rejuvenate. Do what matters. Release whatever is left. Rest and rejuvenate sticks out to me. It's come up to me actually in the last week or 10 days. And so I feel like water has been giving me this message for a while. As a matter of fact, yesterday I spent the afternoon kayaking down the Missouri River, and it was beautiful. Water is cleansing and clearing. Saw so much nature. It was only a couple hours out of my day. I don't often have time for something like that, but it was so restful and so rejuvenating. And so if you can find a way to fit something like that into your life, try it. Even if it's just an hour or two, you will see a remarkable change in how you feel. So thank you, water. Okay, let's look and see what our message from the element of air is. It's been windy around here. This message has popped up for us the last several readings, so I think it's very important. And honestly, it feels fitting that this time it's in the air element because it has shown up in different areas, but this is flying free. And it says, I unfurl my wings and fly. And one thing that one of the many things that air is good for as an element is it can carry things away from us. Like sometimes when there's a storm coming and the wind picks up and there's a stiff breeze, I just stand out in the wind and I just say, carry away what I don't need. Even if I don't understand what I need to let go of, or I don't understand how to do it or the process, I'm trusting spirit, I'm trusting the universe, and I'm allowing this beautiful gift from nature to help carry something away. When we release, which this card is about as well, simplifying and release, it frees us up for more possibility and potential in our life. So that is one thing about moving space. Like sometimes you have to end a cycle so you can begin a new cycle, because until you let a cycle end, there's no room for the new cycle to come in. So let's take a look at this message here. It just says, be daring, cast aside conventions and restrictions, dance, laugh, explore, go beyond your predictable behaviors and say yes to life. Yes is emphasized there, so I'm going to say it again. Say yes to life. By doing so, you support others in finding their wings. So in that way, the message kind of is telling us, if you allow yourself to fly free, set an example to move forward, or to release something to help you gain something else, you're setting an example, a positive, helpful example for other people who maybe are scared to do that. And when they see you release and move forward with beauty, they also find the strength and energy to do that as well. So let's take a look at our message from fire. Now, I already mentioned I'm a double Leo, so I love me the fire. So this card has come up for us too. So when these cards are repeated, I feel it's very important to pay attention to. This is the rising above card, and isn't it beautiful? I see only beauty and grace, and she is rising out of a purple lotus, which is very mystical, and there is the sun beaming either behind her or from her. It's almost as if she is casting this light out herself. And we all are bright lights, and we all have this ability to shine for other people, to help them, to let them see that they too have this ability. So let's take a look at what the message on the card is. For a deck that I had never connected with until I bought it in December last year, I love it. The messages are beautiful and they all feel so appropriate. So the card meaning is, let go of the ordinary and step into the extraordinary. You have potential that you haven't even begun to tap into. This is the time to reach higher than ever before. So do not fall down before doubt. Remember your true calling. And sometimes it's hard. We come into this life and we don't know anything. We literally are designed to have a soul plan, and then we have to forget it when we come. And that's why it's so hard. We don't remember what we're here for. All these challenges get thrown at us, and we don't even understand that maybe that's part of our higher self's plan to help our soul grow, which can be frustrating sometimes and hurtful. But there is a lot of deep faith here that this is part of your plan, and even the people in your life that are challenging and frustrating, that potentially their part to play in your life is to help yourself grow by challenges, not the easy road, not always the warm and fuzzy, and it can be hard. And I'm dealing with that in my personal life, and I say this to you all with love. I'm growing in this process, growing on this journey, just like everybody else is. We all come in to a spiritual awakening or spiritual growth or spiritual knowledge at different times, and we're all at different places, and I'm still learning and growing as well. And so I don't have all the answers. I mean, I have more answers than I had, 7 years ago or 12 years ago or even 20 years ago, but I don't have them all. And I'm so glad that I'm continuing to be open, continuing to learn, and continuing to trust that the universe is putting me in the right place for my growth, and also to help the people and the earth around me. It's very important. So we've got our messages from our 4 directional elements. Now let us look at our message from spirit here. This is a beautiful card. And this seems so appropriate for the message to us from spirit. So the card is dwelling in truth. And the message is, I stand in the light of truth. Now the hard part is knowing what is truth, because we're kind of locked, not kind of, we are. We're locked in a matrix that hides the truth from us, that doesn't want us to know the truth, that does not want us to understand our absolute beautiful power as humans, as souls, and our potential to help not just ourselves, but the people around us, the world and the earth around us, animals around us. This planet needs our help. She needs us and we need her. So we need to support each other, and we need to remember the truth of that. So here is the message. The soul loves the truth. Be honest with yourself and listen to your inner guidance. Follow it by speaking your truth. To thine own self be true. You radiate the energy of truth to others so that they can find their truth. I have several soul lessons that I'm working on, and one of them is learning to speak my truth, and to speak it not in a demanding or obnoxious kind of way, but into not necessarily even a soft way. Strong yet gentle is the best way to move forward, and have trust in yourself. And you can speak your own truth. And even if other people don't necessarily like what you're saying, or they don't see your truth as their truth, that's okay. Like I said, we're all individuals, but part of our growth process is finding what radiates from our heart, from our soul, what our soul's purpose is, and then speaking that truth. And it's easier said than done. It's really can be hard sometimes, but you have to have faith in yourself, your spirit guides, your gatekeepers, your guardians. Have faith in the earth, have faith in the people that have been placed in your life to help you, even if sometimes that help comes in challenging and frustrating ways. Rise above. And one thing that's really come up again in the last week or so in my life, that we have a reaction time that's very important. 6 or 7 seconds, it can take for us to react and say something or do something that might hurt somebody else or we might regret. But if we can just pause, breathe, which is easier said than done, I know, because I'm guilty of this, for 6 to 7 seconds, you can really reset your reaction, and it might be beneficial for everybody involved, the person who triggered you, and for you to look into why exactly that triggered you. Boy, this last month of July, triggers left and right, I feel like. And I think that's part of what's going on in the world right now. We are rising and we are changing, and so we are moving forward. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I'm really excited about this season. Honestly, I was born at the very end of July, so I feel like this is kind of my season to really cherish. I love all of the seasons, all of the turns of the wheel, but this one feels beautiful to me. Also, I grew up in a farming environment, and harvest it's everything. It's what feeds you during the winter. It's what pays the bills that you've been expending effort to get a crop in, to maintain a crop, through a growing season. And this is kind of where everything starts to culminate in, progress and a harvest. And so I hope you all enjoy this Lammas season, or Lunasa, if that's how you think of it. I've enjoyed this reading so much, and I'm really looking forward to what this season has for us. So we'll see you again for our next reading. That will be mid-September at the fall equinox. And until then, enjoy this first harvest season. Enjoy what it means to you. And if you just sit with yourself, you'll figure out what it means to you. So what a beautiful message we have. Thank you so much. My name is Stacy. My channel is Simply Liminal. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful turn of the wheel.